What is up, guys and girls? Archer Gaming here, and I wanted to come at you today with a review on my thoughts on the Flash Arrow Batman game. This will tie into newer stuff in the FAQ as well, and a few of the new models coming out, and we'll tie into sort of how the Batman game's become since this is coming out. Book's been out for a little over a month now. I've been to 2 tournaments since it's been out, which have used rules and used this as a legal expansion. I've had a little play with the vehicles, I've had a little play with some of the equipment lists, crews, all that sort of stuff. And I thought I'd just compile it all into one video when I've got enough experience with the book to be able to let you know my honest opinion. So first big part I found of this book which intrigued me was the teams. So we've got a few teams in here. We've got the Sinister Six, which is one tier in charge. You've got the Suicide Squad, you've got Birds of Prey, a few different teams you can run based off the Batman rules. Teen Titans was another one. I've played against the Suicide Squad list, and I've used a Secret Six list. The Secret Six list was at 350 points standard for a bit of tournament practice against a friend of mine. And what I'm finding so far is with the lack of cheap characters, we're really struggling at 350 points to make teams work. You seem to be nerfed for having teams as opposed to any real benefits. I've tried that, I was struggling. I then done a 500 point game where a friend of mine used a Suicide Squad team. And it seemed to work a lot better at that 500 points level. It gives you a few more extra slots as well if you're running a standard crew. And I've got a feeling that's where the game might be heading with teams. But I feel at 350 points, until we get a few more cheaper models, teams won't work. And with the models that have come out so far for teams, have sort of been a bit more on the expensive side as well. Like Hawkman, Hawkgirl, they weren't cheap. Kid Flash is 75 points, which I think is going to be about your standard. But until you maybe get a few more animated series stuff in there, it's not going to work. And the only animated series model I found is worth the points is Batman, who's not in any crews. Animated Harley is pants, animated Catwoman is pants. You know, in comparison to their other models, you know, I'm just struggling to use them. So I think for teams to work, it's going to have to be a 500 point game. In my opinion, there might be a few people which say, you're wrong, here's this team at 350 points and it works amazing. But for me and the experience of the lists that I have and the models I have to be able to build these lists, I'm sort of struggling. The other thing as well I don't think that helped is we ran Ambush at 350 points and I had 4 models from the Secret Six. So it's quite hard to be able to use 4 models against quite a swarmy Scarecrow list as well. But yeah. So that didn't work so well. But teams at 500 points are amazing. So much so I was talking to our local son of Batman, who runs a lot of our tournaments and runs our gaming sessions for Batman and sort of organises it all. He is considering a 500 point team-based tournament, but putting a model list. So you can still run your crews, you can still run your Joker crew and stuff like that. You just get limited to 16 models, just so you don't have like swarms of like 25 models. I think we worked out the most you could get to about 43 models in a Joker list. It's ridiculous at 500 points. 32, sorry. Just with running multiples of the dirt cheap entry. But yeah, looking through the team list though, it hints at a lot of characters we are going to be getting. Looks like we're going to be getting another Wonderland pack with Cheshire, Black Alice, King Shark will be coming. Grodd is in it. Obviously, a lot of the book is going to be his whole brand new own crew. Superboy Prime, again, that's teased with the new Arrow, the Dark Knight Returns one with a kryptonite effect. Assuming that's going to work similar to Hot or Cold when they actually give us some rules for it. New Arrow is amazing, by the way. I'm in love with that character. Yeah, you know, like I said, I've done a few tournaments now. I've run 2 different things in tournaments. Under this book, I've run a a police swarm list using Zirhim Batman, which is the Alt Art tournament card. He is not worth it. 125 rep, willpower 7 bipolar. So 80% of the rounds he was on willpower 5. Willpower 6, sorry. Which is not good. He is base willpower 6, sorry, so he goes down to willpower 5 if you don't get your bipolar off, which for me was a common occurrence. So only 5 counters on a Batman at 125 rep is not good. So unfortunately, I wasn't overly competitive in the second one. I still play 7th. For those who follow my Facebook page, they would have seen all that throughout the day. Again, if you want to follow me on tournament pages, just go through that. And yeah, apart from that, it was quite a solid police list. I used the new one-arm arrow. It was great fun. We then also went out to Spearmint Rhinox. I never can pronounce your guys' names. The guys who do the podcasts and stuff for Batman exclusively. They run a tournament in Loughborough. Again, I took a 6-model list for this. I took something a bit different. We took Titan Bane, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and the 4 cheapest prisoners and henchmen. I knew some of the new equipment for Bane, which includes, as long as you have a free agent or psychic, for 3 rep and $100, all your guys can take continuous Titan every turn, which was crazy. I had Deathstroke on Titan for about 4 turns, which was just, he went into beast mode. Yeah, he's struggling to attack and block him at attack 7 with combo. I think I did literally roll 10 dice at someone for attack. I'm going to knock you out, no matter who you are. If you're rolling 10 dice, even if you've got 4 or 5 in block, you're then needing 6s. He went just into tank mode. So the new equipment overall is really, really good. Again, I've sort of looked at that. I've played a little with the Batman stuff. So used the Kevlar Cow on the animated series Batman in a couple of friendly games. It's really, really useful. Again, it's only like $100 in a rep, and I sort of can be able to build crews around that 347, 348 rep. So 1 rep point and $100. Plus 1 endurance is amazing. It can literally make the difference between life and death. Again, I've also run, along with some of the crews, I've run an arrow crew. It's cool that he's got a different equipment list to Batman now, meaning you can give his crew grapple guns, which is really useful on a law crew, because apart from your characters, you don't really have a lot of choice to get up on roofs. So it's kind of tempted me into a green arrow crew again with the Dark Knight Returns arrow, who is insane. For 75 points, he's ridiculous. And then we've obviously got Diggle announced to come. So I think I might start turning into a green arrow crew as opposed to a Batman crew for a change. But yeah. As for other equipment, like I said, I've tried some of the new Bane stuff out. A friend of mine's been running broken equipment quite a lot, and that's been quite good fun. But yeah, and the other big change into this expansion is certain characters, if they're in a crew, give sort of unlocks. So sort of Harley for a Joker crew unlocks upgrade called Sexy Outfit, which gives Disarray and Distract, I believe. And you kind of gain a few more different things running these crews. Again, I haven't really looked overly through it all. A lot of the base equipment hasn't changed. It just seems to be these extra ones with, if you run X in a certain crew, like normally a free agent, a certain psychic or a certain leader for that crew, you can do something else. Bruce Wayne obviously opens a lot for Batman crews, including the Kevlar Cow martial artist. Dick Grayson opens a few more, and it's just kind of tempted me to take these different characters I wouldn't normally take into a list. So we also have some new scenarios as well in the book. Scenarios, different game types. Again, I've only played 1 or 2 of these, but I'm kind of hoping they sort of funk up the tournament scene a little bit. Again, I've what I've started to notice in tournaments is they've sort of dropped the 8-turn strategies, so stuff like ambush, just because they tend to overtime a bit too often. So hopefully we can start to see these newer ones in tournaments. None of yet, but I'm hoping it kind of opens it up a little bit, especially if they do another 2-day tournament for Worlds or something. That could be quite entertaining. Some of the new scenarios, it kind of makes you think more before you go into a tournament mode. More strategies and stuff. Again, into strategies. Every crew's got their own strategy point now that they can take, and then there's new strategies on top of the old ones. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are really good. Again, I've only really used Bane's and Batman's. So Batman's one is Batman crew specific. Is once per game you can turn off 3 lights, so they just go dead. There's some other good ones as well. The Bane one is it allows you to move a Titan canister 10 centimeters. So what I was doing in the tournament is moving that dead on 10 centimeters next to the ammo. Bane's on both 6 VPs a turn, which is crazy. So it's a lot more sustainable than change of plan. It's not D6, it's straight 10. With change of plan, you're only going to get 7. However, you can move anything. This is only Titan. However, it can be yours and it also can be opponents as well. The other big new mechanic in this is speedsters and vehicles. So speedsters, I'm very, very underwhelmed with at the moment. I've used the Flash. A friend of mine's used Zoom as well. And for that many points, they don't seem to be able to do much, especially with Arrow, especially with Flash. If he's on the board, you can't kill anyone, which doesn't really come into effect so much with the way I build Law Crews. But a friend of mine was running Alpha, quite gun heavy, and suddenly he just couldn't kill anyone and was just knocked out all the time. Fortunately, you can arrest, so you can still remove his casualty. You just can't shoot anyone to death. They just get knocked down. You've then got to move over there, spend movement special to arrest them. A friend of mine, like I said, had Brandon and a lot of gun heavy and just couldn't finish me off because he had Flash in there. So that made it a bit interesting. And also vehicles as well. I'm sure if you've seen in the previous video, I do own the Batpod, the Batmobile, sorry, which is a really good fun vehicle. The new templates for moving it are fun. The rules are fun. At the moment, it's not competitive. The rules as written for it is if it moves, it loses all its shots. It's a very good anti-vehicle vehicle, but there's no vehicles out yet. Just all your funding as well. I think again, it's designed for more of that 500-point bigger games, which again makes me think they're going towards more of that way, especially with these more expensive like characters which have come out recently. Stuff like Flash, Zoom was relatively expensive, Starfire. They're sort of a little bit more expensive at the moment. So hopefully they kind of look at this route, and we start to see like a 500-point tournaments pop up every now and again, but with a model limit. But yeah, the vehicle, the Batmobile, really good fun. Again, it's not a tournament at the moment, and also as well, a lot of tournaments don't think anyone's stupid enough to bring it. So a lot of the table designs, like you can get really hindered in some of the table plans. Essentially you've got a model, yay big, and I used it a couple of times. Once was in roll off chance encounters, so the corner to corner one, and by the time I fit the Batmobile in there, you've got no room for anything. Batmobile and your models, they physically can't place an objective anywhere. Especially if you've got a building in that corner as well, it gets ridiculously tight. But it's good fun. Hopefully we see a few more vehicles come in, and hopefully it starts to get its own sort of chance in the spotlight. It's a cracking model though, absolutely beautiful. But at the moment it's a £45 piece of terrain. But yeah, and then also with the new rulebook, obviously normally comes a new FAQ. A big point of change of this was the bat signal. So the bat signal is now deployable on roofs, which again changed the tournament meta back to a Batman crew, with all the access of flight, with Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Starfire, Cyborg. The first tournament I went to with the new rules and new FAQ, 90% of crews were Batman. Well, Cyborg crews, flying up, turn on a bat signal, put on a roof. A friend of mine, Liam, has actually wrote a blog on how to beat this, which will be linked below for anyone who wants to go check that out. And there is ways, but again, it takes a lot of forward planning to try and be able to beat that. You lose a lot trying to combat it. But yeah, that was the major rule of the FAQ. But yeah, I'm very, very tempted to go with the Green Arrow crew after this book. Again, it started to hint. Again, it started to hint at a few more models we get in. Image-wise, actually in the book, it looks like there's a few more ninjas, I think. There is definitely some more militia for the Scarecrow, militia, and some definite more Harley goons coming out. So it's starting to look like they're not going to keep pumping out characters. Obviously, we did have the new Sons of Batman and the new Joker bots with flight. But essentially, it looks like it's going to be very character heavy until they catch up with this, which is kind of a shame because things like a Penguin crew might need some stuff, Two-Face, Black Mask. There's a lot of job for Joker, and it seems like there's going to be a bit more love for Militia down the line, and obviously always more love for Batman. And I mean, it's nice to see Arrow now being chucked back in there with stuff like Diggle coming up. And yeah, but you know, it hints at a lot of new toys and it is really good fun. Definitely worth it if you play Batman already. Again, it come out at the right time. Like, we're starting to get a bit stale of the same 6 scenarios. I think there's 6 new ones in here, new strategy points. It opened the game a lot more, especially with the plethora of models we've got coming out for it. But yeah, I think I've covered everything in it. So yeah, it's worth it. Go out and grab it if you don't. I pre-ordered mine, so I did get the cool Black Flash model. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and shall see you in the next video.